Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's July 2nd, 2016. One of the big headlines is the death of Nobel Peace Prize winner Elie Wiesel. If you're new to my channel, I show how many celebrities, their deaths appear to be ritual sacrifices by the numbers. This death meets those suspicions. Standing out right away is that the gematria of his birth name, Eliezer Wiesel, has gematria of 72. He is dead on July 2nd, 7/2 as we write it in the United States. With regards to him dying at age 87, that number is important to voting and Hillary Clinton herself. Hillary Clinton was a front page story all day on CNN. At one point, the front page looked like this, with the headline also coming about the death of Elie Wiesel. If you have not seen my work before, I talk a lot about the number 87 in the Clinton political dynasty. Bill Clinton himself was not born with the last name Clinton. He was born William Jefferson Blythe. His father was murdered, his biological father, on a date with 87 numerology. Years later, he would take on the name Clinton. Clinton in gematria sums to 87, like voting. And this year, 87 days after the November 8th election, this year, 87 days after Hillary Clinton's birthday, which is October 26th, 2016, 87 days later will be Inauguration Day. And I'm pretty sure it will be Hillary Clinton as the next president. Should she become the 45th president following Obama, her and Bill Clinton will be number 42 and number 45, a sum of 87. So Elie Wiesel dead today. His short name, his common name that he went by, having gematria 50, 59, and 104. The numbers 50 and 104 very special to the United States of America. America equals 50. The date of establishment for the nation, a date with 104 numerology, like 10-4, message received. This man is very much known for the Holocaust, a piece of propaganda from World War II that was mostly used to persuade Americans down a path of agenda. His death comes on July 2nd, the midway point of the calendar year, which is the anniversary date of the '64 Civil Rights Act. And civil rights in gematria sums to 64, just like Barack Hussein Obama, who was elected president 44 years, the 44th president after the Civil Rights Act. The face of the Civil Rights Act, Martin Luther King Jr., assassinated on 4/4. 44, numbers that have to do with tragedy in history. But anyhow, this news comes today on the date of the Civil Rights Act. And with regards to civil rights, I want you to think about, not only the Civil Rights Act of '64 and what that did for mostly black Americans and other minorities, but also think about civil rights in terms of women and voting. And also think about civil rights in terms of Jewish rights and creating a Jewish state in the wake of the Holocaust propaganda, which it was in World War II, which this man is known for writing about in the book Night. With regards to the term Holocaust, this man wrote the book about the Holocaust, Night, that he won a Nobel Peace Prize for. Holocaust has gematria of 33, a number very special to the Freemasons. And the word Holocaust itself means burnt animal sacrifice to the gods. The only reason this word was chosen for the propaganda that was the Holocaust is because of its gematria. I mean, why choose a word, burnt animal sacrifice to the gods, to explain such a thing? For the record, in World War II, Jews were put in prison camps the same way Japanese were put in prison camps in America. In the United States, it's estimated that 200,000 Japanese people died from starvation and scurvy. Those are the exact same statistics for Jewish deaths in World War II. Nobody was gassed. There's not a single shred of evidence that any of that happened. Everything at the Nuremberg trials was a lie by the numbers. What there is evidence of by the Red Cross is 200,000 Jewish deaths, just like Japanese deaths, from starvation and scurvy, while being held in prison camps. That's what really happened in the Holocaust, not all the Hollywood nonsense that we have been educated about for the sake of agenda, for the sake of building this Zionist state. Holocaust in simple English gematria also sums to 114, like Pearl Harbor, like World War. Right now we're at the end of the 114th Congress. His book, Night, has gematria 58, like Freemasonry. It's the Freemasons who run the show. The phrase for Jews for the Holocaust is never again, which has gematria of 96, like Freemason. He won the Nobel Peace Prize 30 years ago in 86. Talk about why that's interesting. He has died 90 days before what would have been his birthday, which is September 30th. Saturn is the keeper of time. Very important in the esoteric world. Saturn in gematria sums to 30 and 93. His birthday, September 30th, has that 9-3 sequence. The date he was born in history is a date with 86 numerology, special number, the words symbol, triangle, and pyramid all sum to 86 in gematria. That's the year he won the Nobel Peace Prize for his book Night, which he wrote in 55. The date he was born on had a life lesson number of 59, like his name gematria, a number connected to killing. It seems he has been killed at the age of 87 on this date in a ritual sacrifice. He's also born on a date with 67 numerology, connected to Freemasonry and blood sacrifice. Many of the celebrities who've died this year have the connection to 67. The date of his death is a date with 45 numerology. Should Hillary Clinton become the 45th president, remember this story, remember this day. This is the way your world operates. Ritual sacrifice by the numbers for events to come that will be by the same numbers. 87, an important number to Hillary Clinton. CNN put out this headline, this front page story. Elie Wiesel dies at 87, or Elie, excuse me. The way that's formed in gematria sums to 72, like his birth name, like being dead on July 2nd. And this is just par for the course. This is what's done every day in the mainstream media with coded headlines by the numbers. A couple weeks ago, there was also an actress who died at age 87. Her death stood out. Her name was Anne Morgan Gilbert, a name in gematria that sums to 83, like leap year, like election. I think that's the reason elections happen in leap year, because of the gematria significance. These people who rule over us, gematria, this practice of coding numbers, it is a religion to them. It is what our English language is built around. It is what our calendar is built around. It's why our calendar is so awkward with the weird span of days and months, 28 in February. I cover all of these things in other videos. She was dead at age 87, 147 days before the election. The day she died was also Donald Trump's birthday. Donald Trump born on June 14th. This woman dead by the numbers, and seemingly a tribute to Hillary Clinton. Think about the symbolism. Donald Trump, her opponent. The day of the death was a date with 56 numerology, a number corresponding with the word president. Supposedly she died from cancer. Another headline today, if you pay attention to the headlines, if you use gematria, you see what they're coding. Are the voters mad as hell? And this article is about Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Are the voters mad as hell? Gematria of 87, also like voting. You pay attention to the headlines, they like to put 87 around Hillary Clinton's name a lot. These other headlines today about her meeting over the email scandal. If you are caught up in this story, it's time to wake up. The media is here and it feeds you information that is nonsense, part of an agenda, meant to piss you off, meant to play with your head. When Hillary Clinton's the president, a large segment of the population is going to be, making comments about, oh God, we have this president that can't even manage her email. This is all part of the divide and conquer narrative that they wage against us. They know a large part of the country could care less about this. The whole email scandal comes out of the Benghazi hoax, which was on September 11th. The favorite numbers of the Masons and Zionists, all seeing I equals 119, Star of David equals 119, like the date sequence 11-9. Familiar date to tragedy. Anyhow, look at these headlines. Clinton meets with FBI over email. And that headline sums to 137, just like Washington, D.C., just like American Meridian, which is the meridian that cuts through D.C., just like Authority. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Remember, federal equals 33, where Washington, D.C. is headquartered, the federal headquarters. Clinton equals 33, this name dating back to the political dynasty out of New York from the beginning of the country. FBI, another agency that's always been run by the numbers, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the same gematria as government, established on the date July 26, 1908, a date with 33 numerology. What else? J. Edgar Hoover, dead by the numbers. I have a video on that. Anyhow, I was just noticing that these headlines, again today with 45 numerology, Hillary looking to be the 45th president, from today until the date of the election, November 8th, a span of 130 days. Washington equals 130. See my videos on George Washington, everything in his career done by the number 130. This other headline, Clinton meets with FBI, has gematria of 226. As I continue to point out, this number is attached to the Clintons and attached to New York City, where the Clinton political dynasty is originally from. Hillary Clinton, a former senator there. When Bill Clinton was president, there was the World Trade Center bombing on February 26th in the year 93. I can't tell you what that number means, but they code it all the time with these Clintons. And then, of course, the post time for the article at 1:13 p.m., mainstream 113, dishonest 113, green screen 113, numbers they code along their lies all the time. So this is what it is, another day of headlines by the numbers, ritual sacrifice by the numbers, contrived news by the numbers. This time it's a Nobel Peace Prize author, and it's all part of a civil rights sick tribute. The Civil Rights Act was signed in '64, 223 days after the assassination of JFK. Masonic equals 223, JFK assassinated in Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. One last point, with regards to him dying 90 days before what would have been his 88th birthday, the name Elizabeth equals 88. Queen Elizabeth is currently 90. There's a lot being foreshadowed for a transition from Queen Elizabeth to King Charles. Perhaps around the time the Queen dies, we'll get the first female president in the United States, as all part of a numerological riddle as well. These are all topics I've been talking about. This is the latest. Until next time, Truth Seeker.